Hello everyone and welcome back to the next episode of the Road to FIDE Master series. This is the episode number 60, in which I will cover the analysis of the round number 9, so the last round of the tournament from the Kielce Chess Open. And what do you know? For the next time, like fifth in a row, I got a younger player. Not only that, much lower rated. And not only that, he is a FIDE master. So once more, a young guy who was really climbing his ratings a lot, then he dropped a lot, but I guess at this age he's working constantly on his chess, so playing much better than this rating. At the time of playing the game, he was gaining over 100 rating points. He had not lost any game in the tournament so far. He just won 2, drew 6. So I was like, okay, amazing pairing, right? Black pieces trying to break through the rock. Let's do this. On top of that, instead of e4 that he normally chooses, sometimes d4, he went for c4. And I was like, okay, last round preparation, he chose something new. Perfect. Already on the move number 1, I am out of prep. So not ideal situation by any means. I decided to reply with e6, after which he chose knight c3, d5 and e3. And when I saw e3, I spotted that, okay, he is going for the e3, b3 legendary setup that I faced kind of, let's say, in the round number 7, but then as you can tell, there was the different move order and my opponent went for double fianchetto instead of e3. And at the same time though, it was a little bit strange because after my natural knight f6, knight f3, I chose this a6 line, which I, at least in my eyes, chose and saw plenty of times. And my opponent was thinking in here like what to do, why should he do it, what, and kind of strange. Because for me it was very simple. If I play a6, is with the attempt to take on c4 and then play b5 attacking the bishop. So bishop e2 would be an inaccuracy because then bishop makes one move, second move, like third move, and I have the better bishop. So all in all, white has to react by playing b3. For me it's natural, for my opponent maybe it was not. So I replied with c5, natural way of playing, right? Trying to take over the space in the center and threaten with some d4 moves. So he had to take and play d4. And a6 move that you might found like, okay, why did I play it? It's because it controls the b5 square. So after some attempt of bishop b5, well, it's non-existent, right? I can simply play knight c6 and be happy about my nice placement. And not on top of that, it may seem like a waste of tempo, but in the future it guarantees my bishop a place to hide to if I need it, right? So that's the function of the a6 move, if you would like to know. Anyway, my opponent continued with bishop b2. In here I had a choice, should I go with bishop d6, right, and allow this, let's say, loss of a tempo and go into such position in which I will have yet to decide what to do with this bishop. Should I go with it here, leave it as it is, plenty of choices. But as you may remember from the game number 7, I'm not that big of a fan of losing this tempo on the bishop. So I wanted to play bishop g4, trying to create some more pressure to my opponent, after which I knew that he can not care about it and just play bishop e2, but maybe he will play dc, allowing me to develop my bishop without loss of a tempo. Why is he allowed to play bishop e2 when it seems like I'm putting so much pressure to him? Because after bishop takes, we achieved a position in which we have both doubled pawns, sorry, not doubled, but isolated ones. So we no longer have the isolani typical, let's say, pawn structure, and he has the bishop pair. And it's very important to evaluate, is the bishop pair important in this kind of situation in structure or not. And I felt like I would not only, I gave one bishop away, and on top of that I would have to give even another one. Why? If I choose like bishop d6 move, although maybe it gives the trick there, so maybe bishop e7, castle, let's say, I was really unhappy with the fact that he can play rook c1, knight a4, and try to exploit my weak dark squares, because yes, I have the defender, but because a6 was included, I am not so sure if that's great, because for example, if knight c5 will be played at some point, should I take it and allow the rook into the game onto the dark square, which I no longer have the defender of, hitting my pawn? So all in all, I was unsure if this setup would be okay. And the same dilemma I had in the bishop b4 variation, after which it would be takes, because I don't have this maneuver. but I don't have the bishop on e7 already as of now. So which pair of the pieces are better, bishop or the knights? You can tell me in the comments which one would you prefer. This position I somewhat liked. I felt like after queen d6, rook e8, rook c8 would be okay, but you never know with the bishop pair, right? So after bishop e2 would be played, I would be debating, should I take or should I not take, as usual in life. But yeah, dc5 was on the board, so I was happy with that, because after bishop c5, bishop e2, castle, castle, I have the position that we have discussed as of now, but with bishop g4 on the board and my move. So usually such move is a good one, so the inclusion of it was beneficial to me. The question is, how do I want to use this tempo that I've gained with this somewhat strange move order? And I had three choices in here. Rook c8, the most natural way of playing, right? Rook willing to go onto the open file. Queen d6, not so natural at the first glance, but all in all very desired move. There is a famous like maneuver like this, trying to set up a very nasty attack to the king, or bishop a7 straight away, because bishop in itself is a tactical weakness in many variations. After knight a4, let's say, is played, or rook on c5 is played out. So yeah, those were the three variations I've covered, and I have decided for the latter option, for the bishop a7 one. Why? Because I misevaluated the variations afterwards. I knew that knight d4 would be the best choice for the opponent, because usually when the bishop is there, it's annoying, therefore opponent is willing to jump away to exchange the bishops, because as you know, when you are playing against the isolated pawn, exchanges are something that you like. And I knew that knight d4 is coming, but I misevaluated the variation afterwards, because I wanted to drop back the bishop to d7. The idea is that as of now, I am, let's say, threatening with taking on d4. So if rook c1 is on the board, I can take, and I believe that my bishop is better than this one. And those two are similarly, let's say, weak. So overall, the position is symmetrical, but I am the one holding a little bit of an edge, I would say. So I would play bishop c6 to solidify the situation, knight e4 to use this bishop, rook e8, queen d6 or queen h4 maybe, and try, you know, something of my own, because this bishop on b2 is much worse than mine on a7. So after bishop d7, knight c6 would be the natural way of playing for the opponent, and from distance I wanted to play bc, allowing my opponent to take on a6, and I felt like, okay, I'm having a pawn disadvantage as of now for a second, and only for a second, because I will have bishop e3. If he takes, I take, and I might be happy, you know. This is a weakness, king is somewhat weakened, let's say, and all that, but not only I misevaluated this position, because after queen d4, apparently this and that would be kind of scary for me. F e3 is one option. He can also play bishop b7 and try to get the very same position, but with the inclusion of getting rid of the c pawn and f pawn like that. So it's either this or that position, this or that. Both are terrible strategically. Like, I undervalued this bishop as of now with cooperation with the queen, with the rook. I felt like, okay, I weakened the king, but like, so what? The king is nowhere to be, let's say, attacked. So yeah, this is the problem of mine that I faced, that after bishop a7 that I thought about for a long time, I misevaluated the position, and after knight d4 was on the board, I felt like I don't have any other choice than to play bishop d7, because I didn't quite like the fact that after bishop e2 he can take there, and there are far too many you know, exchanges. This is the exact scenario that white is willing to get, not black. So I kind of felt like, okay, I have to go back with the bishop, and after takes I have to take with the bishop now, and all of a sudden the problem is that he has bishop f3 with the hopes of playing knight e2, knight d4 maybe, or knight f4. So either he will block the pawn or attack it. I don't have any like counterplay whatsoever, because it's hard for me to get to the knight to e4, even if I will do it. Then he can choose this knight e2, knight f4 route, since my knight is no longer protecting the pawn. And on top of that, if you remember the previous analysis, air conditioning was off. Really, and fighting in this kind of position against a guy who did not lose a single game, played a boring, drawish, let's say, system in over 30 degrees during the last day of the tournament, during which I may not have mentioned it, but I was there as a coach too. we had 30 kids to think about, to prepare, to do some things with, and I was just exhausted physically due to this whole week of responsibilities with the kids, let's say. Then this air conditioning was like physically draining me even harder, and mentally speaking, I was also frustrated with the fact that I was playing so underrated young great players, and this one was like too much. FIDE Master, no losses. I decided, okay, let's suggest a draw offer. So I played Rook C8, I offered a draw, and what was funny, he was like really looking unhappy about it. But after a few minutes, he obviously agreed. So like he ended up on like 7 draws in the tournament, gained over 118 points, and I got myself a draw at the end. First one of the tournament, maybe a little bit anticlimactic, but after such many fights, I would say that it is okay to have one draw, especially at the end, especially with such tough circumstances. And yeah, this is it, guys, for the game. I was worried that after 92 I would be indeed in some trouble. Bishop d4 as a solidifying of the control over the d4 square was annoying because I don't want to exchange. Knight f4 was annoying with the attempt to attack the pawn. So all in all, I had really no hopes for a win in here. So I would say draw is a good, let's say, result. And this is it, pretty anticlimactic, but we end the tournament like this, and let's go into the outro section. We will discuss the tournament in a second. As you can tell, I gained the rating points, as many as 3, so not so many as you can tell. So I kind of feel frustrated about it because I felt like my chess overall were very good. I had some fun with Grandmaster Hamitevici. I had lost completely in a very bad game against Grandmaster Vetoshko in the first round, but other than that, out of all the other games, I won most of them in the pretty, let's say, dominant fashion. Some nearly immortal games were here on this channel, so yeah, I would say pretty good tournament, and to gain only 3 rating points, I mean, it felt like it's too little. Maybe it's because I have never been so highly rated, so I don't get the feeling of, grinding those elo points that hard. But yeah, I guess this is my new reality in which I have to really push harder and harder. Today was not the day, unfortunately, but hopefully in the future ones I will do so. And as you can tell, I scored 5.5 points in the end. I was placed 19th with a win in the last round. I would perhaps get to like top 10 or top 12 maybe, so it would be even a higher score, but I cannot complain about 19th place anyway. And yeah, plenty of experience taken, I would say, both opening wise and how to get the wins against the lower rated young prodigies, let's say, and all that. So very good tournament. I'm happy with a rating gain, and at the time when you are seeing this video, I am actually competing in the next tournament, physically perhaps even more exhausting because I will be playing double runs all the time, so 2 games a day. So we'll see how will I manage, but hopefully this tournament prepared me for it. And yeah, with that, I would like to thank you all for watching the whole series, especially from this tournament. And yeah, keep your fingers crossed that I will be getting closer and closer to this FIDE Master title. And thank you all for watching this video. Hopefully we'll see each other shortly within next few days with the new tournament to cover. So stay tuned for that. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so because there is plenty of analysis incoming. Thank you all for watching, all my usual viewers, and yeah, we'll see each other within a week. I hope so. Keep your fingers crossed. Bye bye.